So we are on Unit 2, which is solving. We're going to be spending a lot of time on learning how to solve equations correctly. But before we do that, our first learning target for this unit is being able to check solutions to equations. So what we're going to do is determine whether or not a value makes an equation true. So we're learning about what does it mean when we solve an equation. All right, so my notes are set up a little bit differently than we saw in Unit 1. We're going to start 3-column notes now. So the first column is still for those main idea questions that we looked at in Unit 1. The middle column is for the notes, and the right-hand column is for the process. So we're going to be taking a look at this unit of focusing on the process for problem solving as opposed to what do I do with this specific question. So we'll see how that works out. All right, so we're going to start by checking solutions. Our first example, we're determining whether or not x equals 4 is a solution to the equation 4x minus 12 equals 8. So we start by substituting the value into the equation. So replacing x with 4. And in the right-hand column, we're going to write our first step. So we substituted the value into the equation. All right, after we have the value substituted, we use order of operations to simplify both sides of the equal sign as necessary. In this case, the right-hand side of the equal sign is already simplified, it's 8. So looking at the left-hand side of the equal sign, I have 4 times 4 minus 12. So using order of operations, I know that I multiply always before I subtract. So 4 times 4 gives me 16. And then I finish simplifying. 16 minus 12 is 4. So for step 2, and we'll talk about what that answer means in a second, we use order of operations to simplify. And as a reminder, there are only 4 steps in order of operations. So step 1, I'm going to call it A since I'm already under step 2 for our process, is grouping symbols. The second step in order of operations is exponents. The third step is multiplying and dividing left to right. And our fourth step is adding and subtracting left to right. All right, so the last step in this process is comparing the answers on either side of the equal sign. Obviously, 4 does not equal 8, so 4, we'll say x equals 4, is not a solution. All right, and over in the right-hand column, step 3, compare answers. All right, so if you are using the notes that I put on my website, once you slide to the next example, the process that we just came up with on the first slide is already there for you. So what I want you to do is pause the video, use the process that I gave you on the right-hand side to see if you can successfully answer this example. Once you have attempted it, go ahead and hit play and watch me work through it and compare your process to my process. All right, step 1, substitute the value into the equation. So substituting -1 in for n. Step 2, simplify using order of operations. And as a reminder, any grouping symbols is what I evaluate first. I've got some grouping symbols, my parentheses, so I'm going to simplify what's inside there first. -1 plus 5 is 4. Exponents, I don't have any. Multiply and divide left to right. My parentheses now give me multiplication as my operation as opposed to being used as grouping symbols. So -3 times 4 is -12. And I've finished simplifying the left-hand side of my equation. So step 3, I will compare my answers. -12 does equal -12, so n equals -1 is a solution. again, a reminder, a solution is a value that makes the equation true. As we saw in our first example, x equals 4 was not a solution because it made the equation untrue. So when we get into solving equations, we're looking for the value that will make the equation true.